Hey guys, happy Thursday. Happy 11/11 portal day. Super powerful day today. Super powerful energy for manifesting, for speaking our dreams out loud, making wishes. We're jumping through a huge, powerful portal energy, especially along with this eclipse that we're having during the full moon. I was reading that it's going to be one of the longest eclipses. It's going to take like over 3 hours for the moon to be clear again. So yeah, it's one of the longest eclipses. So the full moon itself is already powerful, and then you add an eclipse, which is even more powerful. Plus you add the closeness to the 11/11 portal, and we have this huge, huge energy that is punching some of us in the face right now. It's been the collective energy has been very heavy, right? Because it's not just light workers and people who are awake that experience the energies. The entire collective is experiencing these energies, but the entire collective isn't doing the shadow work, right? And even some of the light workers and people on the journey are kind of in a place of avoiding. So the energy has been very heavy. So even if you've done the work, but you kind of being pulled back into these energies and not understanding, and you take a look at the situation and there's nothing left for you here to learn, it's like learning to separate. Is this my energy where I need to take a deeper look at something and there's still something here for me? Or is this a collective energy that I'm feeling? Or is this someone else's energy that I'm feeling? Yesterday and today, a particular person came at me with a really harsh energy, and I got punched in the chest with this anxiety that I haven't experienced in like 8 or 9 months, and it was a huge punch in the chest, and I was like, okay. And I realized that it just wasn't even my anxiety, right? It was that person, and it was their energy that kind of punched me in the chest, and I needed to, instead of sitting in that anxiety energy, was to release it because it didn't belong to me. So we're also being asked right now to recognize what is our own and that we need to dig deeper into or take a second look at, because if we're still going through it or it's still coming up, then there's something there that we still need to take a look at. Or is it someone else's, or are we sitting in collective energy? Because the collective is very heavy. We've had this full moon in Scorpio, and that is all about karma. So what have you been creating for yourself for karma? Like, I personally have tried to be really good over the last little while and not create any new karma for myself, right? Be really considerate, put good deeds out there with no expectation, for things back, and just trying to do all of these things to live my best life, live in my dharma, and not create any further negative karma for myself while I continue clearing out whatever old karma and energy is still attached to me, right? So if you've been doing the shadow work, likely you haven't, racked up a whole bunch of karma, but we're in a time of Scorpio is about rebirth, transformation. It's also, they're telling me about portal energy moving through a portal, right? Rebirth, it's like the birth canal. It's like its own portal, right? They're showing it to me like that. We're going through these portals, right? And it started with the 8/8 portal, which was super powerful this year. The Lionsgate portal was huge this year. If you didn't take advantage of that energy, you might be having a bit of a tougher time right now, because that was a huge energy to take part in. We have to remember to jump on these energy opportunities, right? Because there are certain times, especially today, I was taking a look at the sun and the energy coming off the sun coming towards the earth. And we got hit with this huge, powerful solar flare that I saw, which was really cool, right? But that energy is hitting the earth, and we are experiencing that energy. So we're getting all of these energies right now. Everything could feel heightened. I know I've been going through feeling just kind of like alone sort of in these things, and just feeling in those old energies, of being like, man, I haven't felt like this in months, and understanding that some of that isn't mine and some of it's mine to revisit. Okay, so that's a huge message that I'm getting coming through. So we still have time in the 11/11 portal energy, right, to take advantage of that, to meditate in that space, to connect to that energy, to set our intentions, and to move through that portal. So if you've not done that, you may want to think about that. right? And what is your intentions? I know like there's a lot of releasing going on, releasing things that no longer serve us, right? Like if you didn't do the work or you've been ignoring important things, that's in your face right now. So let's say like your relationship is blowing up and you've known for a while that your partner, like, you know, you've been having these doubts about your partner and this and that, and maybe things have been going great and you've known, but you've not taken the step. It's like that's probably blowing up in your face right now. Because you've chosen to ignore it, right? Like now is a time where we're really struggling to ignore the truths of things, right? The veil has been ripped off and your ego can only keep you from seeing the truth for so long. So if you're in very uncomfortable situations or relationships with people and it's been made very obvious to you and you've not taken the steps or made changes, it's like that's in your face big time right now, big time. If you've not let go of a narcissistic person in your life, that is going to keep blowing up in your face. That will keep blowing up in your face because that's a huge, huge thing that we're releasing out of the collective, right? It's the number one thing that empathic people deal with is narcissistic people, right? And releasing that and getting over that and healing from narcissistic abuse is extremely, extremely powerful. So if you're still staying in a place of being a victim and sticking it out in a relationship or in a situation that is abusive to you, it doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic relationship. It could even just be a situation or a job. But for a lot of people, it's relationships because it tends to be the hardest one for us to let go of. But it's extremely freeing and there's work to do in that space. And what is meant for you will never pass you by. Right? So if that person is truly meant for you, if you love something, let it go. If it comes back to you, it's yours. I believe that to be very true. Spirit's saying that to me right now. If you love something, let it go. If it was yours, it will be back. I'm gonna put time here. It's always so strange for me doing this show because I have to pay attention to the time and I sometimes really want to sink into a channeling and I can't. I can't. Okay, I'm not going to take that one because it was in reverse. Spirit's telling me no. I'll take this one. It's Inward Revolution. Like I'm reading this like intuitively as like changes are happening inward. You've had a complete like a revolution has happened within you, and that comes from tackling your inner narcissist, your inner critic, rewiring your mind, changing the way you think, shifting your perspective, right? Having this inward revolution, allowing things to shift and turn within you. There's even like awakening of the DNA. I'm also getting. Show you guys this card. And I'm going to read from the book quickly. Number 42. This is the secret language of light. And the cards are really pretty. But I've only used it a couple times, so I'm not very familiar with the cards in the deck. Like I don't go through the decks. It's like the first time they come out. It's like the first time I'm seeing them too. It's like kind of exciting for me. Okay, Inward Revolution, the way of your heart. You are always moving forward, even when you feel like you're going backward. Wow, I already feel like this is going to be like the perfect message for this time. Your path may seem to go up or down, inward or outward. The spiral is a symbol of your journey. It represents the cyclical adventure into your heart center. You will continually revisit aspects of your life to bring you deeper understanding. Difficulties and challenges can command greater focus as they help to bring bigger and better dreams and desires. Each cycle of life is an important stepping stone that expands into the next. Your life will only feel authentic when you come to your own conclusions. An inward revolution will open you up to the wisdom of your soul. It is a path we must all take to truly know and love ourselves. From this place, we can move outward back into the world, empowered with our soul's wisdom. You are worthy of all you desire, no matter where you are in your spiral. Inspired reflections and actions for this message. Walk a labyrinth as a conscious ritual for growth. That's so crazy because I saw a picture of somebody doing that like right before I came on to do this up. Dance in spinning spirals, just like the whirling dervish, whose dance is symbolic of the cosmic dance of the universe. Dancing is super powerful. It's one of my favorite ways to raise my vibration and release old energy. paint spirals, draw spirals, make spiral mosaic. Use any medium or medium that appeals to you to create spirals, and imagine the control of your mind loosening with each curve. Wow, that's really cool. I'm definitely going to try that. Journal work. Draw or write about 3 emotional or physical patterns that you have repeated in your life. Then draw or write about something new you learned about yourself with each revolution. That's a super great activity to do, right? What are 3 huge emotional or physical patterns of behavior or programs that you have worked really hard and shifted in that space? And you may be thinking like, oh, I can't think of 3, but you'd be shocked once you start writing down one, then more starts to flow out and you start to gain like some pride and appreciation, because sometimes we don't realize how much work that we've really done. I had a huge moment today of this big realization that I've done way more work than I'm really giving myself credit for. And I still feel like even in having that realization, I'm not giving myself the credit, right? We're always, as humans, kind of looking at what we haven't accomplished rather than what we have accomplished, right? It's this. And there's always going to be work to do. We're never done doing it. Even a master knows that you always have more to learn, right? So there's always something for us to be growing, learning, revisiting within ourselves, right? So there's never like an end point. So we need to focus on what we've accomplished here. And I like to take a look at how I've came from the last year, from the last 6 months, from the last 3 months to a month, even a couple of weeks sometimes can make a big difference, right? Because we can have a shift, but sometimes it takes a while for that shift to go through in the physical. And sometimes we have a shift and it happens instantaneously. It's funny, the spirit made me click on the first one, and this was the time I should have snapped, but they're so funny. Or I was just not in line with what they wanted me to do, but that's where that came from. Yeah, this is a beautiful message. I'm going to keep sharing about this on my page, Words of Divine Love and Healing on Facebook. You can check me out there. I'll be going live there within the next 15 minutes to keep going with this reading and some messages and advice and guidance from Spirit for you guys on your journey and how to make it through these energies that we're going through right now and how to get over this last hump. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. I love and appreciate you all so much. I love being here every Thursday. I look forward to being here again with you next week. And do please check me out on my page, Words of Divine Love on Facebook. Bye, guys.